I think we fought. We fought as long as we possibly could, and before you know it, the lack of depth that we had on our bench showed, and they wore us down towards the end of that game. And I think one of the things that just glares off the page is just how important it is to take care of the ball in crunch time situations in the game. And I think giving up 29 points off our turnovers is the difference in the game. That and our lack of depth.
Okay, open it up for questions. When Kristi hit the 3 early in the second half, you went up by 8, and then it kind of started to go the other way. What was happening at that point?
It's a very good question. From foul trouble to turning the ball over, those are the things that ended up kind of shifting that curve a little bit, but it was 3 minutes into the half, so it's just kind of hard to really assess what's going on at that time. It's more what was going on in that 15-minute to the end of the game time that really glares off the page to me. But those first 3 minutes of the half, I just think it was a hard-fought battle, and we were trying to build on the lead we had at half. And I think for the most part we did that. They had to call a timeout, and I think our kids have a lot to be proud of going against this team. We just need some more bodies, man. We need some more bodies.
When you say it's the 15 to the end that glares off the page, what about that in particular?
The old boards they got, those were extra possessions, and then those key points they got off our turnovers. So we didn't take care of the ball when it really, really counted.
Sarah seemed to struggle again. What were you kind of trying to say to her as far as, you know...
Struggling how?
Well, with foul trouble, turnovers, things like that.
I think the only thing that stands out to me is she was in foul trouble, and her rhythm was off. When you have to sit down and go cold and you try to come back in, that's tough. But I think she's the one that got us going. She was our energy. She was finding people through their press, and got some really nice assists versus it. But Morty, she just had a hard time having to sit out, now come back in, sit out, come back in, and it's a tough assignment. But is she capable of handling it? Absolutely. And I know going forward she will.
Regina returned to practice this week, so how did she look, or how was...
She looks good in a half-court setting. Unfortunately, the game is full court, and that's what we got to get her building towards.
And then Molly, she's still...
Same.
Mackenzie's game?
Excellent. That's all I got. She played some tremendous basketball, and a credit to her teammates because they found her, and when they found her, she made it known. And I'm really, really proud of that kid.
What did you think, if anything, changed? Or what did they do differently with Mackenzie in the second half, in your opinion, from what you saw?
Meaning what? Leading to where?
They changed their defense up on Mackenzie, kind of keyed in on her, tried to stop her a little bit. Do you think they had an effect, or?
It just makes life for everybody else on the floor easier from a perimeter standpoint when you have an inside game going, when you have that presence going. That's what opens up her three. That's what it just makes a big difference in the game. That allowed us to penetrate and find a Morty on the weak side in the first half. In the second half, every now and again, it's just it opens up for us. But she came ready to play, and was really proud of her against a team that is pretty good. Pretty good.
Kristi, you wanted to see more, from your team. How does this kind of relate, the bounce back?
Yeah, I think this is exactly what I was looking for. I think coaches were looking for, and the Georgia Tech game obviously was not how we anticipated it would go, but I think we showed some toughness tonight. I mean, Mackenzie played one of the best games I've seen her play, and I think at the end of the game, Charmaine and I looked at each other, and we were playing with 3 freshmen, and they weren't backing down, and I think we battled. I think we played pretty tough, and I mean, we'd love to win that game, but I think it was a good stepping stone going into the USC game.
What made their trapping defense so tough?
It was not super aggressive, and so it was kind of hesitating. Like you would take a dribble, and then they'd come at you, and then you take a dribble back, and they'd stop, and so it was kind of confusing out there whether they were gonna trap, whether they were gonna come back, and Georgia Tech was good prep for us, but I think UCLA brought a lot more pressure, and we kind of anticipated that, so yeah.
Having played this pressure a lot in the past and preparing for it, like with Georgia Tech, what do you think could have prepared you more? Do you think you handled it well? Or
I think for the most part we handled it all right. gosh, I was playing the 4 a lot of the time, and it was just kind of weird because we didn't have most of the time we didn't have 2 traditional ball handlers on the court. Whether, you know, Morty and I were in, I'd be playing the 4 sometimes, or you know, Morty and Mercedes were in, and it was just kind of weird combinations because of our lack of depth. But I think for the most part we did a good job handling it, and you know, Mercedes, I think, did a good job being a freshman handling that. But yeah, we do have to clean it up a little bit.
All right, we'll take one more.
Good. Just your freshmen, they were in the game, they had some turnovers, but you stuck with them. Can you just talk about what you thought about their performance, Mercedes and Marjorie?
I'll tell you what I told them at the end of the game, which is, you know, myself included, we all make freshman mistakes, we all learn by them. And I think just having those opportunities, and even early on in the season when they were forced in, you know, playing minutes that they probably wouldn't have traditionally played if we had all of our players healthy, but they're learning. And the one thing I love about them, regardless of the mistakes that are going on out there, they battle. Every possession they battle, they fight, they want to be out there, they want to help. They're understanding more and more each game exactly how to do that. So I know going forward we're going to be okay. We're absolutely going to be okay.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.